Hey there, welcome to Between the Weights Live, the podcast. It's Monday, so we're going to do our basically the second installment of the series, talking about the Spartan Way book, right? And I know that was backwards for you, I apologize. It's just how it's going to be right now. So we read chapter 1, right? And so to remind you, what this book is all about is going over 10 principles that we would that the book refers to as Spartan virtues, right? So 10 different aspects of our lives, whether it's mental or physical or the way that we eat. These different things that we can do to help get ourselves through any challenge in our life that we're looking for, right? Or to make any change in our life that we desire to make also, right? So chapter 1 was titled, Find Your True North. I don't know if you are familiar with the technique to find the North Star, right? But if you go outside, if you locate the Big Dipper, the bottom two stars that make the cup of the Big Dipper, if you draw a line between those and continue that line out until it touches another star, right? When it touches another star, that third star is the North Star, right? And what's so particularly special about the North Star is that it doesn't move. You may or may not be familiar with the fact that the stars in the sky, the constellations, change in their position depending on the time of year and those sorts of things, right? Because the Earth, of course, is spinning around, right? However, that North Star is called the North Star because it is always in the same spot, right? And it's referred to as true north because in contrast to magnetic north is what a compass will tell you is north, but it is 310 or so miles away from actual north, right? And depending on where you are in the world, the degree of change is a little slightly different, right? Thanks to the Boy Scouts, learn all about true north, magnetic north, right? But so that's what true north is, right? It is a point in the sky that doesn't move, and that has been used for centuries by sailors mainly who are trying to navigate oceans, right? And they use the North Star to know which direction, to know that they're headed in the right direction, right? So in our life, right, if we are to take this concept of true north, what they talk about in the book is using it as a way to direct ourselves, right? And I don't know, he talks about the movie, oh man, I'm gonna forget what it's called. Dang it. What was the movie called? Hacksaw Ridge, right? Hacksaw Ridge. Basically, Hacksaw Ridge was a story of in World War II, Americans are fighting in Okinawa, and there was one particular Army medic who signed up for the military but refused to carry a weapon, right? He refused to fire a weapon at the enemy and was there just to help save as many people as he could, right? And there's the famous battle that he was able to save 75 members of his unit, right, that were all injured, right? in this crazy battle that lots of people died. It's a crazy, just crazy, and it's a pretty inspiring movie, right? But so no, even through saving all of these people and getting shot by a sniper and just all this stuff he went through, he got hit by a grenade, and through all of that, right, he never ever picked up a rifle and fired, and because he knew what his true north was, right, and he wasn't willing to compromise on any of that. So if you are self-aware enough about who you are, knowing what you want, really, right, helps guide you and helps you stay on track for the goals that it's going to take to get you, for the process it's going to take to get you to the goals, right? And there are lots of things that are going to try to prevent us from doing that, right? And one of those is the negative voices, the negative types of thinking that are going to try to prevent us from accomplishing our goals, right? Trying to prevent us from always heading towards true north. And in this chapter, it talks about 5. Hold on, let me find it. Can't find it. Should be a little bit better prepared. 5 negative ways of thinking that are going to stop you, right? So the first one is black and white thinking, thinking that things are one way or another, right? And there's no gray areas, right? And that can just lead to you just, most things are gray, right? And so if you are flexible, if you can see the good in bad situations, right? Not everything's 100% bad, right? And so seeing the positive side is going to help. Tunnel vision is another way, right? You only see the negative things, right? You see through a filter of negativity, and you focus on the negatives. You ignore any of the positive sides of things that are happening or possibilities. And this, it just screws with what's rational, right? Because there's always a bright side. There's always a silver lining. Minimizing and maximizing is another negative way that people can think, right? Things are always or never, right? And going all the way to most extremes is just not helpful, right? And particularly with social media, right? Facebook and Instagram is a highlight reel, right? And you can have a tendency to think that that's what people's lives are like all the time, and just makes it more difficult. Jumping to conclusions is the next one, right? When you jump to conclusions, I don't know, the tendency is for that conclusion to be negative, right? You always are looking ahead and assuming that the conclusion of whatever's happening in your life is going to be negative, right? I have this goal to lose weight, but I know in a month from now I'm just going to give up, or it's going to be too hard, I'm not going to be able to do it, right? Looking ahead and foreseeing the negative is harmful, right? Be in the moment and realize that you can do it. And then the last one they called catastrophizing, right? You overact to things. Something little, like all of a sudden is giant and is the end of the world, right? Using things like never and always. He always wins. I never catch a break, right? Turning like a little thing and just like blowing it up out of proportion, right? Going to the most extreme example of any incident, right? That can happen. So, usually we think these things because we've got a voice that is from somebody else that we hear in our head, right? That we have taken on ourselves, and we now believe it's ourself telling us these things, right? And that's false. All of these negative ways of thinking are all just lies, right? From someone else who doesn't know, and it's not from me. So don't believe them, because they're wrong and they're lies. So the goal, the exercise for this week, we need to know what you really want. We need to know what your goal really is. What really motivates you, right? What can we set as your true north that you want so badly that you will not deviate for any reason, right? Absolutely nothing will prevent you from reaching your goal. And that's what we're going to set up as your true north, right? There's really 3 areas that people look that need to be happy, right? Real true happiness. So that's a reasonable amount of money, right? Not that money buys happiness, but a reasonable amount of money makes you just need it to survive, right? You need to have food, a reasonable place to live, enough of a car to get around, or enough money to buy Uber, right? You need to be healthy, okay? The healthier you are, the better your life can be, right? And then love is the third thing that everyone needs to secure true happiness, right? So we need to find a goal somewhere in there that we can set up as your true north, that you're not going to deviate from, and then we can start building a lifestyle around that so that we can accomplish that goal. So to summarize, stop thinking negatively, because those voices are lies and they come from someone else. Sit down, think about the goal that you have, or something that we can set up as your true north, right? Again, we're thinking the Spartan race in September. So maybe your goal for right now is, your true north for right now is, I'm gonna destroy the Spartan in September. And we're gonna start working towards that. Tune in next Monday for chapter 2. Again, in the comments below, let me know what your true north is. Let me know what you're going to be working towards. And we'll catch you next week. And I look forward to hearing about what your true north is. See ya.